So here we are, guys, on Shakuras Plateau in the top right-hand corner. We have our green Terran player from Mouse Sports. That is ThorZaIN. He has dropped 2 games in a row, though, to his opponent down here at the bottom left-hand corner. Our red Protoss player and reigning champion of IPL Fight Club. That is Liquid HerO.
Yep, so Shakuras Plateau, cross positions, Terran versus Protoss. And these guys have both shown a penchant for doing, kind of macro-oriented expand builds early on, although ThorZaIN has also shown that he can throw some all-ins, mix in some cheese in there. So we don't really know what we're going to expect from him.
Yeah, I mean, in that game before on Calm Before the Storm, pulled off a pretty well-executed early push there. Was also lucky that HerO wasn't able to pick up on that, but, wasn't able to capitalize, was able to get one of his Marines back home. And so, wasn't able to defend the following push, and HerO was able to out-macro him from there on out. But in this game, we'll see if ThorZaIN wants to do something a little bit trickier.
Nope, there's the barracks. Nothing tricky this time from ThorZaIN.
Yep.
He's not being tricky at all. Although he could, Makarak something or something like that, but, we'll see.
Let's see, and HerO's saving up quite a bit of resources right now, so he is going to Nexus first, it appears.
Yep.
And
or Forge Fast Expand.
Building up those probes now, so.
Probably not. TVP.
Yep.
Maybe someday Protoss players will figure out how to Forge Fast Expand versus Terran, but it would be pretty tough to do something like that.
Yeah, it would be. And looks like a probe already being sent out now, and it's going to drop down that Nexus here momentarily. ThorZaIN does have gas up with his first barracks right away, though. This is a map where it's very easy to gasless FE because of the size of this ramp down here. We could see something completely different, though. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be.
I feel like something like 2 barracks pressure would be pretty good on a map like this. He's going to scout cross positions right away and find his opponent, it looks like. And so, second barracks in the natural, so he is going to do some 2 barracks pressure on Liquid HerO, and the Nexus first is one of those builds that can take some damage. I mean, if ThorZaIN can get in there, cause a cancel on it, that would be a good way to sort of stay even with his opponent in this game.
And a probe is heading down just to make sure that there's nothing around, no shenanigans or anything along those lines. ThorZaIN unfortunately scouting the wrong position first, so he'll need to make his way down to the bottom left in a second. And we do have our reactor coming up right now, so this is the same order of things that he did on Tal'Daram Ultra. It looks like HerO, whoa! He diverted to the right just a little bit, but wasn't able to pick up on that barracks.
Yep, that's right. So still in the dark completely about what ThorZaIN is doing. I mean, for all he knows, it could be a gasless fast expand as well. I mean, you still have the Marine out there at any rate, but ThorZaIn coming in here and seeing this, he's like, you Nexus first, didn't you? I might be able to take advantage of this. We'll see.
Oh, we'll find out as HerO has that Nexus finished now. A few probes already transferring over, and we have our first couple of Marines coming up now. We could see some upgrades here as well.
Yeah, will he get concussive shells first? That's what I'm kind of wondering here. In this case, I think it wouldn't be bad at all, but nope. Looks like he's saving up for combat shields. All right.
There it is. Going to hit pretty quickly as well. A little more expensive upgrade, but going to make those Marines much beefier.
Yep, that's right. Well, this will time out kind of with the second Marauder and then starting to move across the map. Combat shields should be done about by the time that he gets there.
And HerO doesn't have that many units on the field quite yet. In fact, just a Zealot and a Stalker with a second Stalker on the way. And in this case, ThorZaIN's going to have more than enough to deal with those couple of units.
Yeah, I'd say so. Huh. All right.
Well, HerO's going to get himself up the ramp, then quickly down the ramp.
I wonder what's up this ramp.
Bye-bye. Oh! Okay, yep, one last shot there from the Marauder. So.
Yep. He sees a Marauder, though, so he does know there's 2 barracks out there for ThorZaIN.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
And he is going to back his way home right away. The Warp Gate research is actually quite far away from being done, so we'll need to produce out of these gateways by themselves for quite a while.
Yep. So I'm curious to see how aggressive ThorZaIN's going to be with this. Is he going to just sit and try to kill the Nexus, or is he going to try to push up into the main? Sending some SCVs with this. You always want to do that if you're doing this kind of push. Otherwise, it just seems to be a little bit too weak a lot of times. Yep, probes getting pulled. I think HerO might just abandon this Nexus. He's like, all right, ThorZaIN, I know you don't have a command center yet, so he might try to defend it, but if he does lose the Nexus, he's not going to be all that far behind.
And ThorZaIN was thinking about just running right up the ramp because he knows his opponent is going to just sit back and give up the Nexus. Liquid HerO putting his Stalkers down to the bottom of the ramp just a little bit, but ThorZaIN comes right back, does a little damage of his own. So far, it looks like HerO has been doing a little bit better with the tug of war, but there a Stalker goes down and the tide starts to turn for ThorZaIN.
Yep, that's right. Still got plenty of SCVs there.
Woo! Overextending himself a little bit, maybe, as HerO backs his way down, loses a Stalker and a Zealot right away. The bunker is now finished with hurt units inside, so ThorZaIN will be able to repair that up quite a bit.
Yep, that Nexus is in huge trouble. Liquid HerO does have warp gates now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm surprised ThorZaIN isn't attacking it with everything right now. Okay, there he goes finally, and he is going to get the Nexus. No problem.
Yes, and it's going to fall down here in a second. Expends one last Chrono Boost out of that, though. So
look at that. ThorZaIN going up to a factory here, too, not going for the command center. So he is just going to go all out and try to just maybe kill HerO on one base here with this.
Well, let's see. HerO is going to be up to 5 gates off of one base for a little while, so he'll be following up with quite a push of his own. Bunker does get salvaged. And thankfully for ThorZaIN, he did pick up on this pylon that was being constructed inside of his mineral line. I don't believe, though, that HerO was able to make his way in and see anything. Yeah, he still has no idea what his opponent is doing.
Yeah, HerO just expanding again. He wants to make sure that he stays safe, so he's got those 5 gateways up there. ThorZaIN trying to break up the ramp. Doesn't quite work out, but doesn't lose a lot of units doing it at least. And now ThorZaIN's pretty far ahead. And with Medivacs coming out, he might be able to do just kind of a strong one-base Marine Marauder Medivac push and try to end the game just with that.
Well, he does have the tech lab done and nothing being produced out of the factory yet. Yeah, it looks like he's going to swap that onto the starport.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll see if Banshees get added in here in just a second. What ends up being constructed after that? We do have a forge on the way now for HerO, as it looks like his base is going to finish up.
Forge. All right.
Yeah. That's, you know, he already has those five gateways down, I guess. And, yeah, there you go. ThorZaIN is expanding.
Yep. And putting the tech lab on the factory, that's interesting. He's making Banshees. And is he going to start adding tanks onto this as well? This is going to end up being yeah, there's a tank. So very interesting unit composition from ThorZaIN, too.
You were talking about that Nada-style play that's been popular lately as well, with the Banshees and tanks added in there, and it's just pure Marines on top of that.
I gotta say, it's definitely cool to see someone get into that from Marine Marauder. I wonder how vulnerable that's going to leave ThorZaIN to a follow-up push like this. He's got a good amount of bio. I think a big part of this is not losing too many bio units in your early pressure on the Protoss opponent. I feel like if you did, you would just be too weak while you tried to switch over this tech-wise, but ThorZaIN's done it right. I mean, he's in great shape with this, even without the bunkers.
Yeah, he does have quite a bit, and he has his first tank and Banshee already in play. Yeah. Frankly, there's not a ton of anti-air there for HerO. And it looks like that Banshee is going to sneak its way to his opponent's base. HerO decides he can't really move up that quite yet. He does set his Zealots in the front, though.
HerO is not going to be expecting this Banshee one bit, too. Yeah, he is not going to see this coming. This is a very weird transition that ThorZaIN is doing. It's very cool, but it's very unexpected as well. Yeah, getting siege mode too, so he's going for it. He's just switching up his composition, just going Marine tank, and probably with a few more Banshees on there. If you skip Stim, you can make up for the DPS you're losing from Stim by adding Banshees instead of Medivacs. So it's something that we see Terran players do, and yeah, HerO's not going to be able to get up that ramp.
No, ThorZaIN's position looking better and better right now. And nice. Here come the probe kills. And unfortunately, yeah, there's not much that HerO can do about that. He is warping in a couple of Stalkers right now and immediately putting up a Robo. Now, of course, we know there's no cloak there or anything like that. However, HerO is starting to retreat. That Banshee already has 4 kills.
Yep. And ThorZaIN can just do this little bit of damage and move away and use those Banshees later on in his army, too. So,
well, let's see. HerO moving down to the southern Xel'Naga Tower now, and 1-1 upgrades is about finished, though, which is a nice little benefit for him. ThorZaIN, of course, bypassing that in favor of nice expensive units. He does have his siege upgrade finished, though, with 3 siege tanks at the back. That is quite a bit of splash damage.
Yeah. And all right, that is a huge army for ThorZaIN moving across the map, and he might actually be able to catch a bit. Nope, HerO moving away just in time, wasn't able to really catch that. And Marine Marauder is like doubly powerful when you back that up with siege tanks too. So this is a very strong push from ThorZaIN. Let's see here.
Yeah, if those tanks are going to siege up, and they do a little bit later, but they are there now. It looks like he was worried about his Banshee going into the main mineral line right now, and those units just can't move into that siege line. The sentries would just disappear. Looks like the Banshee did end up dying. Yep. Yeah, there was a Stalker there with 1 kill. Nabbed himself a couple more probe kills, though.
Yep. And ThorZaIN again pushing ahead.
Yeah, continuing to reinforce across the map as well. There is one Immortal coming up now, but it's going to be a little while. And the Zealots have basically all gone down. Just one lone remaining there at the back. The Sentries are losing most of their energy as well. ThorZaIN just continues to push forward. And there's the Banshee in the air. Now there's quite a bit of anti-air out for HerO. So ThorZaIN will have to control that well, but it's still a nice addition to this army.
Yeah, the arranging of his tanks has been really, really nice. Not letting anything get too far ahead. And now with that Banshee giving him vision on the high ground, he's going to be able to really start putting some pressure on Liquid HerO. Probably going to want to move that tank in the back up here pretty soon.
Yeah, let's see here.
No,
I would
actually
imagine
not doing
so.
it. Yeah. All right.
Especially now there's an Immortal on the high ground. However, he does have Hardened Shields, not taking that much from the siege tanks initially.
Yep, there we go.
And yeah, those tanks moving up like you said before. All right, so he's going to push his way in. ThorZaIN going to try and force this. HerO showing nice patience and backing up, but those siege tanks are just raining down so much damage at the moment.
Yeah, HerO's going to need to play this very, very patiently. He's going to need to wait till exactly the right time to move out. He may even try to wait until he has his first Colossus out, honestly, but that's a long time from now. Oh,
yeah,
no, the Immortal. He can't afford to lose these. Oh, no, he lost it without taking out a single tank as well.
Yeah, and the tank is being repaired up as well. The Banshee hasn't taken any damage. Just Stalkers and one Immortal remaining now for Liquid HerO. Now, ThorZaIN did lose a few bio units there, but he has Medivacs thrown into the mix. He's got 1-1 just about to finish up as well.
Yep.
And just pushing his way in now. He's got Banshees and Medivacs for vision.
Yep, I think it's time to bump those siege tanks up a little bit here. At least move one of those up.
Being very patient.
Might start building
moment.
bunkers here too, actually.
You know, ThorZaIN is expanding back at home as well, and look at that. As soon as the Observer goes down, he immediately moves up to the front to get in range of all of these Stalkers and the Nexus.
Yeah,
so now the Nexus is directly under fire. It's going to force HerO's hand. He's trying to move out right now, picking off a couple of Medivacs, as a matter of fact. Not going after the Siege tanks, though. This Immortal is getting a couple of kills, but all of the Stalkers have gone down. ThorZaIN now just a couple of units left to kill. Stim is finished with 1-1. He has a ton of DPS in this army, and the Immortals are taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, 2 Immortals there, but only 2 Immortals at the moment. Now 1 Immortal, and that's just not going to be it. I think we're going to see the GG from HerO any soon here. I think ThorZaIN has him checkmated.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that 3rd command center just finishing up, and the 4th on the way now as he has 2-2 upgrades, rallying in. The first Colossus is making its way out, but there's not much of ground army to support it.
That first Colossi actually could be very helpful here. He needs to be, he needs to be careful with that, though. But that could be a big part of what HerO needs to possibly break this. But I think it's going to be too little too late, even with that Colossus.
There's something moving across the bottom of the map. I'll look at that here in just a bit, though. We want to watch this fight up at the front. You know, the Zealots actually did a pretty good job on the back of that Colossus as well, but look at that. Not really any anti-air, and it looks like just 1 Colossus remaining now, and it's pulling back to the back, but the Immortal has gone through a couple of the siege tanks, but we have a big drop in the back of HerO's base.
Yep, that's right. He's going to kill that Nexus, reduce HerO to just 1 base again, and then get out of there. Yeah, he's losing his tanks at the front, it looks like here, but this Nexus is going to go down. Oh, man.
Yep.
Very nicely done. And does he get away? He does get away.
Oh, wow. May have even been able to jump back in, kill the Colossus, but waits on that for just a little bit. ThorZaIN picking up and dropping his units over and over again. The Immortal's a little bit too strong, though, and ThorZaIN's going to have to move back and regroup. Not a bad
we got
decision.
Marauder.
Oh, bye-bye.
Wasn't paying attention, apparently. He's
Wasn't
just like,
indeed.
I'll just run towards this army. I'm sure everyone will turn around and help me.
Hey, guys. Oh.
So HerO is in a position where he can make a passably strong counter push. I like that ThorZaIN left that 1 Marauder behind just to kind of slow things up a little bit. Does he have bunkers back home? Oh, he doesn't need him. He's got so many units.
Yeah,
ThorZaIN's just perfectly fine here.
Yep, and that's a little bit too much there for HerO, and he GG's.